2017 was a big year for Bitcoin, but 2018 could be Litecoin's year. Litecoin could be set up for a moonshot in 2018. In this video, I'm going to explain why. So look, first, let's talk about where Litecoin's price is right now. And it's basically at an all-time high right now, at $85. It just went up today, and it's had a good week. So, it could go back down and fluctuate. It's been up in this range in the past. It went back down, stayed down for a while, and it's just now testing its all-time new high. So, it would have been a little bit better to buy it a few weeks ago or a few months ago. The best time to buy Litecoin would have been in the past, but maybe the best time that you can buy Litecoin is today. We don't know where the price is going to go short term, but I'm pretty optimistic about Litecoin's future and its long-term value. I'll be explaining why, given a lot of different points, and I think by the end of the video, you're going to feel the same way as I do. So, first off, let me just point out that Bitcoin, as we all know, is like the poster child for cryptocurrencies. It was the first one, and it's basically the pioneer. Bitcoin paved the way for other cryptocurrencies to come behind it. So, it was ahead in that regards, but the thing is Litecoin was created not long after Bitcoin. So Litecoin isn't one of these new companies that just had an ICO a few weeks ago. Litecoin has been in the game for a while, and unlike Bitcoin, Litecoin hasn't had its time in the sun yet. So while Bitcoin just had its star year, where it was allowed to shine and got a lot of attention in the media, Litecoin is, it hasn't had that yet. So that alone could be one of the major reasons why Litecoin is $85 and Bitcoin is $8,700. We're talking about 100 times more. Is Bitcoin 100 times better? I don't think so. Is Bitcoin 100 times, more rare? No. So why is Bitcoin priced 100 times more than Litecoin? Well, I'm not going to answer that question, but I will propose a possibility, and that is that maybe because Bitcoin has all this hype. Everyone knows about Bitcoin now. Maybe not everyone, but everyone that knows about cryptocurrencies know about Bitcoin. But not everyone that knows about Bitcoin knows about Litecoin. So it really could just be as simple as that. And here's the thing. If everyone found out, so many people found out about Bitcoin in 2017, that was the year that I came on board. I'm an early adopter, technically. Maybe just barely, we could consider people that are getting on in 2017 to be early adopters, but not really. Not really. So, if there's a lot of us getting on board with Bitcoin and cryptos in general in 2017, then I think 2018 will be the year that other things besides Bitcoin start to get attention from the masses. So now that Bitcoin has paved the way, it got all this media attention, it got all this publicity, and has risen to the point of, almost $9,000 now. it's attracting a lot of attention. And I'm sure there's a lot of people wondering, well, what is the next big thing? What is the next Bitcoin, basically? And there's a good possibility that the answer is Litecoin. So let me tell you a little bit about Litecoin. First of all, Litecoin is, created to be the silver to Bitcoin being gold. So what that means is like Bitcoin is more valuable, it's more scarce, and it's more designed to be a store of wealth. So you get it, you hold it, you store your wealth in Bitcoin, whereas Litecoin, it's less scarce, less valuable, and more designed to use as money, as an actual currency. So here are some of the numbers, and this is one of the biggest reasons why I think Litecoin is so undervalued right now, especially when compared to Bitcoin. There are 4 times as many Litecoins as Bitcoins. And with that, let's say if everything else is equal, then that means that Bitcoin should be 4 times the value of Litecoin. But it's not 4 times the value, it's 100 times the value. So that alone makes it, disproportional. But when you look at the other things that are involved, you really start to see that Litecoin is very undervalued. So another thing to know about Litecoin is that it's faster and cheaper to use. So Litecoin is probably going to be the coin that is used in the future more often than Bitcoin, because you buy your Bitcoin, you hold it, and that's it. Litecoin is what you're going to be using to make transactions, to make purchases, especially small purchases. The transaction fees for Bitcoin, especially right now, are really high, whereas Litecoin are really low. But the difference is people aren't really using cryptocurrencies as currency yet. Not yet. But if and when they do, there's going to be a huge reason to buy Litecoin. See, the way that cryptocurrencies are being used right now is as basically investments. So people are buying Bitcoin with the expectation of it going up in price. So they're buying it and hodling is the acronym, holding on for dear life. And, they're just holding on to their Bitcoin. And it keeps going up, and they're like, well, dang, I'm not going to sell it. It keeps going up. Why am I going to sell this? So, Bitcoin's being used for what it was intended to be used for the most part. People are buying it, they're holding it. People aren't using Litecoin, as much as it was intended for, because there aren't a lot of merchants in place. There's a 10x that's it's another crypto that's going to come out, and it's out, but what they're aiming to do is make it to where you can spend your cryptos on a Visa or MasterCard, on a credit card. You can buy your lunch with cryptos such as Litecoin. When we reach that point, we'll be using Litecoin, not Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was first, it got publicity, it had this huge run which gave it more publicity. There's documentaries about Bitcoin, and it's basically very well established and doing what it's supposed to be doing. But next year will be a huge year for cryptos. Much more people will get on board. It'll be a lot closer to mass adoption next year. And it could be the year that we actually start paying for dinner with cryptos. And when we get there, we're going to be using Litecoin. And there'll be this huge demand for Litecoin. And just as 2017, a lot of people found out about Bitcoin, I think in 2018, a lot of people are going to find out that cryptocurrencies go way beyond Bitcoin, and they're going to start finding out about these other altcoins. And Litecoin is one of the main altcoins. It's on Coinbase, which is the most user-friendly exchange out there right now. And Coinbase only has 3 cryptos on it: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. So, once the mainstream start getting into these exchanges and buying cryptos, those are the three options they're going to have. And Ethereum just had a huge move last year. It's a much newer crypto, and it's seen a huge rise. Right now, it's like $470 at an all-time high. So, and it's not scarce either. But people are using Ethereum. There's all kinds of uses for Ethereum already in existence. People are using it, like to buy ICOs for other altcoins and stuff like that. So Litecoin is the one that's almost there. It's on the Coinbase, it's on the big exchange. It's set for huge use. It's just we aren't quite using them like that yet. So we don't quite have a use for Litecoin, but we're this close. It seems like we're pretty close to actually being able to use these to make everyday transactions. And when we do, the price of Litecoin could go through the roof. So just to give it some simple numbers, okay? Bitcoin is at 8,700 right now. If Litecoin was at a fourth of that, it would be over $2,000. But Bitcoin is projected to go up in value next year. So just to keep numbers simple, if Bitcoin's 100 times the value now, if Bitcoin goes up 4 more times in value, and then Litecoin were to catch up to a proper ratio of being 1/4 the value of Bitcoin, then a year from now, Litecoin could be priced at where Bitcoin is today, which would be 100 times return on your investment. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying that it could happen, and it explained to you why it could happen. Bitcoin could definitely go up 4 times in value. In fact, Cliff High last year, his data from his webbot, was saying that Bitcoin was going to hit 10,000 by the end of the year, and it basically has, especially if you add Bitcoin Cash onto Bitcoin, because people who held Bitcoin got Bitcoin Cash. It's already hit 10 grand. Even if it goes down, it's pretty close. It's close enough to 10 grand to say that was a pretty accurate prediction. And he's predicting $40,000 Bitcoin by the summer, by next summer of 2018. Even if it takes all year before Bitcoin sees $40,000 and Litecoin goes to a fourth of that, that'll be $1,000 Litecoin. That'd be $10,000 Litecoin. That'd be over 100 times return on your investment. That would be $1,000 would be 100 grand, over 100 grand. So 2018 could be a huge year for Litecoin. I think in general 2018 is going to be a huge year for altcoins, the smaller coins, and the other cryptocurrencies besides Bitcoin, because just as Bitcoin saw its huge rise, the other ones are following it right behind it in its trail, and they're going to see huge gains just like Bitcoin did. And Litecoin is one of the safest bets because it's well established, it's built on great technology, and it's really set up to do spectacular things in the crypto world, and it just needs a little bit more time for people to realize the value that's there and to realize how undervalued Litecoin actually is. So with all that said, let me give you a few reasons. Let me give you a little bit more details about Litecoin in case you're new to Litecoin, you don't know that much about it. I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit more about it, since I've basically been talking this whole time about why I think it's going to blow up in 2018. Now again, this is my personal opinion. I'm not telling you that you should buy Litecoin. I'm telling you why I'm buying Litecoin, why I bought Litecoin. And I may buy some more. Even though it went up, I think it's still very undervalued. So this is Charlie Lee. He's the founder of Litecoin, but he went he went over and started working for Coinbase, and was largely responsible for making Coinbase as successful as it became. And he's very well respected in the crypto community and considered to be a really honest guy. He certainly comes off that way in his interviews. He's not trying to just pump the Litecoin price, make it expensive, and stuff like that. He's really trying to build a useful crypto that's going to be successful in the long term. So, Charlie Lee recently went back from Coinbase back to work on Litecoin full time. So it sounds like he's got some things in the works, and it sounds like Litecoin, it's time. And this article was just published yesterday. 5 reasons why Litecoin is the most undervalued digital currency. And basically it says that, like for one of them is, it's the only digital currency which is actually a digital currency. As I mentioned earlier, isn't burdened by high transaction fees. Says with Litecoin, there's no Bitcoin bubble or any pump and dump. People are just buying and holding. So they're actually using it for what cryptos are meant to be used for. They're buying and holding it. These are all good signs long term. It isn't just some hype that people are just jumping on board because they heard it's going up. This is actually a real thing. Emerging markets love Litecoin. I'll link to this article in the description below, as usual. Litecoin will become the way that people spend Bitcoin. It says, at present, Bitcoin transaction fees are skyrocketing. What is more, Bitcoin has no plans to modify its blockchain in an attempt to make digital currency usable of any kind in any kind of day-to-day transaction context. But basically saying it's Litecoin to be the cheapest and therefore only method in which people will transact and trade Bitcoin. This article says it's more secure than Bitcoin. Bitcoin Cash has had over $300 million that was lost in Bitcoin Cash. So, informative, short article. But, yeah, I think 2018 is going to be a great year for Litecoin. So, I'm just enjoying the ride. And if you want to get some Litecoin, you can get, if you use my referral link to join Coinbase in the description below, we both will get $10 in free Bitcoin off your first $100 order. So use that referral link. It'll hook us both up. And join the crypto space if you haven't already. Learn as much as you can about it because it appears to be changing the world. And it doesn't look like we're going back. It looks like the technology has proved itself, with Bitcoin being the most shiny example. And I think as time goes by, we're going to see more and more of these disrupting products and services that have the potential to change the world. More and more of these are going to come to light, and when people realize how big this is, how much of a game changer blockchain technology is, and when people start using these cryptos, in particular Litecoin, to make transactions, one day we're going to be looking back at an $85 Litecoin price and be thinking, I wish I would have bought it then. Just like today, we're looking back and wishing that we would have bought Bitcoin when it was $85.